Hello all, welcome to the Dental Lab. Here you see the boil out tanks. You got the soak side, the rinse side, a couple of the flasking cases I was working on, the opposing partials. This is where we set them up, let them dry off, cool down. A couple presses while you're packing. The rest of the work I already got done. These have all been painted, ready to go. We rinse them all off in the sink, wipe the teeth with the cotton swab. That's separator right there. And now you'll see me opening them up. Mostly the important thing about this part is you don't want to stress too much on any angle. I've been doing it quite a while, so I can feel where an undercut is pulling. So I don't want to crack any parts off. Right now I'm just trimming off anything that's hanging loose or might break off while we're packing. Got to remove the base plates. I know it seems like I'm hacking at things, but again, I've been doing it for a while. Most of the things I cut around the flask, because when you're topping, it can fill with stone, and all that stone around the frame of the flask will break off, get into your acrylic, and you don't want that. It's just a repair that you're going to have to do later. So the opposing sides of the models I put back in the basket. They'll soak while I'm painting the tooth side. Again, for the tooth side, I clean off the outside of the flask. Anything that's excess will break off while we're packing. Don't want no dirty dentures. It's the basket we use. I go to the wash side first, take off all the wax, all the, excess, take it to the rinse side. The reason we use like a pan with a hole in it is because the wax will float on top of the water. That way through the bottom I have clean water. And of course I get wax on my gloves, so I gotta rinse it off. Then we stack it up, let the excess water float out. Whoop. Yeah. There you can see all the wax I gotta rinse off. That'll come up on the soap side. And then we just make sure there's no soap or any, anything else on it, so we put it on the rinse side. I'm pretty much playing with hot rocks. They're pretty heavy, after they're filled with stone. The flasks themselves, they're made of brass. We put each flask, you could fit 6 in a basket if you really want to go for it. So 2 baskets, 6 each. That would be 12 flasks at a time that I drop. And then open up and boil out. Um, it gets pretty heavy on the arm, when you got a 30 plus blast day and you're holding hot rocks in the air while a hot steamer comes up in your face. Well, right there I lost a tooth. It fits right back in like a puzzle piece. Pop it back in. Just keep an eye on it, afterwards. That tooth's loose. The waxer didn't quite, wax it in. I don't want it to fall out while I'm painting the teeth or putting separator on, rinsing it off, or while I'm packing. While you're packing, that tooth is loose still, so you got to make sure it stays down. Alright, so the opposing goes down while I'm painting the teeth. Those can soak. All the wax will soak off and heat off. This is just normal separator. It's already been mixed and placed in our awesome receptacle there. And no, it's not actually Gain. There I am painting the teeth. I'm really generous. I swish it around in there because, as I said, we do rinse everything off afterwards under a stream of water, a light stream of water. And then, you know, wipe it all off with wipe the separator off the backs of the teeth. Otherwise, it will separate from the acrylic denture when it's done. There I am taking them over to the sink you saw in the beginning of in the video. And we're going to pull the opposing up. Hot rocks. And since those were soaking in the soap water, all I got to do is just rinse them off real quick. Each of those folds gets a quick sheet, so both painting and rinsing, I'm not too worried about it. Might not seem that way, but I'm actually being kind of careful how I place each of those as I stack them. Again, you don't want to break any pieces off. Each of those pieces has to be glued back on and perfectly, and if you can't get it back on, you know, right, again, you're going to be dealing with the repair the next day. So you'll kind of see the investments there with frameworks popping out. Each of those frameworks are a little bit different when you're painting them. You got to make sure there's no excess under each of those frames. So you'll see me paint it and then blow out anything from the waffle cone or the cones on the frames. You don't want to keep anything from, you know, the acrylic squishing into there, you know, getting a full pack. After I'm done painting these, I'll set them up where you saw that fan, and all the excess I kind of wipe down, wipe off. Let them dry, let them cool. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for joining me in my little lab.